Girl, you are doing it. Sis, you are doing it. I have to remind myself that every single day I'm going through this stage of transition. Also have to remind myself to record these horizontally and not vertically. On my morning walk, I did not bring my selfie stick, so I am holding up my phone, and that would mean that this video will probably be shorter than normal. Counting down, continuously counting down. I woke up feeling just, I don't know, different level of freedom. I think every time a big chapter closes, especially one that feels like it carries some type of weight, it feels like exhale. I'm allowed to exhale. So I woke up just feeling lighter, and that feels so good. I feel like I'm kind of floating. I think I'm still on a high from graduation, but honestly, I'll be talking about it for a while. I've never been married, but I know how big people make marriage announcements or marriage happening, wedding happenings. And I don't know, I feel like this was kind of like something of that for me. You know, I believe in celebrating everything, no matter, get off the main road. I believe in celebrating everything, no matter how big or small it is. So you told somebody no. You told yourself yes. You let something go. You forgave yourself. You sent an email to inquire about something. You did some research to help you get more closer to the conceptualization of a dream, a vision, a goal. Every single step, I think, towards a life of fulfillment, a peaceful, joyful version of you deserves to be celebrated, because existence can be challenging. And putting forth any effort to obtain or embody a life beyond just mere existence, it takes effort. And the brain does well with positive reinforcement. The brain needs validation, and it doesn't matter if it's from you or someone else, you know. And the validation is important because, especially because in modern times, there are so many forms of stimuli that are constantly promoting ideas of inadequacy and deficiency. You see ads that tell you, if you do this, you'll be this. If you'll make this, you'll represent this. If you have this, then you will feel this, right? And so in a time where there's always an extension to better your life, the contrast is, well, I need to better my life or myself, then what exists is not good enough. And I think the brain is always scanning for comparative or contrasting realities. You know, there's upward comparison and there's downward comparison. The upward comparison is, I'm not as good as so and so. And then the downward comparison is, I don't have it as worse as, or I'm not as bad off as X, Y, and Z. But at the end of the day, some of the brain's functions when it comes to making sense of your world and existence, your identity, is often outside of your control. Sure, there are mindfulness techniques you can use to center, ground, come to, the present, but your mind is going to pick and choose what it sees, it scans, it's adding to a story, it's making a new story, it's supporting the previous story. Like, these are just functions your brain, naturally does. So when you affirm yourself, when you validate yourself, when you celebrate yourself, it is healthy nourishment to your brain, especially if it's focused on continuously building evidence for some story. And the evidence can be, I'm great. The evidence could be, I'm not so great. Anything in between. So taking steps to celebrate the small things matter just as much as the big things. But when the big things really happen and there's a lot of celebration, wow, the impact that has. Oh, and not only on your conceptualization of who you are in reality, but there is a whole emotional component that comes through, For me, graduation was a culmination of so much. The last 3 years, I learned just as much in the classroom as outside of the classroom. I had a lot of shifts in my relationships, just socially. Good morning. Things that I came to understand more clearly, or maybe even see kind of for the first time. So the celebration wasn't just for the degree. The celebration was also for the journey. It was moving through the journey. It was evolving through the journey. It was staying on a path in spite of some elements of the journey that could have paused me, slowed me down, distracted me. And so there's that. Then there's the other element of the people who haven't been a part of the journey physically, but maybe spiritually, and like what that meant. Then there is the historical reflection of the importance of the journey. So many elements came together on top of the fact of this just outpouring of love and support. Oh my gosh, I am so full. I could cry right now thinking of the amount of love in my life, Oh man, my love journey has been interesting. As I'm sure any person's has. I don't know that it's necessarily unique, but I am pretty intentional with revisiting how I conceptualize different aspects of life, how I define fulfillment or myself or what a meaningful life looks like, but also defining like love, you know? And so the last couple of years, 3 years specifically, I went through two evolving definitions of love. And the one that I've ended on right now in this season, to see it embodied in the congratulations and the encouragement and the celebration from others, it feels like an out-of-body experience because there's so much abundance of it, you know? It's just like, wow, this is my life. I'm a person that's loved really, really well, you know? And in the past, and thankfully not too many, you know, in the past I've had some relationships where felt like I had to protest for the type of love that I wanted to experience, you know, and it's not bad. Everybody has a different capacity. There's people who would surely say that I didn't love them the way they needed or wanted to be loved, you know. And so we all have different capacities, limitations, but to be able to cross paths maybe with one person that's in alignment is a blessing. But to have multitudes, my gosh, I mean, talk about wealthy. That's how I'm feeling. I'm feeling wealthy, very, very wealthy with love. And I'm grateful for the transition or separation from people that didn't feel my love or I didn't feel their love, and we were on the same page, you know what I mean? And I don't think it's a matter of right or wrong. People just have different perceptions, perspectives, right? And if your perspective can't line up with somebody else's, then, you know, I don't know. Maybe you just concede to that. Good morning. You know, people can challenge their perspectives to change, but everybody doesn't want to do that. Self-included sometimes, right? Like, I'm like, okay, well, I can just accept what is, and, you know, no need to imagine it to be something else because it's already embodied or experienced in other ways, right? So it feels really good to have in strength and numbers the type of care, the type of support, the type of love that I've really desired. And as I talk about building blocks of bliss and embracing bliss and calling in bliss, the love is a form of bliss. Like, not just love, but the pure, organic, aligned, nurturing love that I allow myself to give and be received in purity, and that I allow myself to receive in openness and gratitude. That exchange is blissful and has been blissful. And last week's graduation experience heighten that bliss. So I'm really, that's what I'm feeling. That's the elevated feeling that I have, is the bliss from the love. Yeah, that's what that is. Secondly, one less thing off of the plate is space for rest. And so I have to remind myself, taking one less thing off doesn't mean you put another thing on, because I have operated in that way in the past. Like, okay, I'm done with this, I'm going to take on something else. And no, in this new season, I'm just making more space and have to remember that there's a certain amount of space that I need just for myself. Nothingness. Not contributing to the community, not contributing to the earth, not doing things for other people, but for myself. It's okay to just have more space for myself. So, even just saying that is helpful, because I can easily see opportunities like, oh my gosh, this is great, I can do this. But also, like, everything that shines, I don't have to go after, So that's also part of creating this burnout proof life in the future, in the present, because I could take something off and then put something on, and I don't want to do that. 3 keys I've learned for the burnout proof life. 1 is making space and keeping space open, as well as holding space for artistic expression, as well as holding space for nature-based practices. And so that's where we are right now. I think the space part is important, and space that connects to rest too, right? Having space for nothingness, no stimulation, just being able to exist, really important. So yesterday I started rolling up my clothes. I already laid my clothes out last weekend. Yesterday I started rolling up my clothes to just start to see what my configuration is going to be for packing my clothes. I have all outfits. All outfits are in, are they? Oh wait, no, I have 2 more coming. All but 2 outfits are in. Those are honestly very optional. But all but 2 outfits are in. So I'm going to kind of go forward and reverse, in the sense of I'm going to pack all my stuff and have it together. But I am going to challenge myself to do a pack with me video. That is something I want to do. Now I think that I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to do it. This might be my first take at editing. I don't know. I don't know if I want to have you pack with me and I just talk to you. I don't know if I want to put the clothes on and show you. I don't know if I just want to lay out the clothes and show you what I have, so then, when I'm actually out in the world, you can see what it looks like. I don't know. There's a Gen Zer that I know that was giving me all these ideas and videos. I'm like, oh wow, girl, people care about that? Okay, we'll try. So we'll see. But yeah, I think when I started this, I was doing it for my friends. And then I had this thing of like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna start doing content creation. Da, da, da. We're not there. I still want to keep this for my friends, even though I'm sharing it with people. So this is really for my friends who just want to see what the heck I'm doing. And I'll make sure when I'm close to it that I just reshare it with them, because they like, oh, I want to see videos. I want to see pictures. Child, you can see pictures and videos when I upload stuff to YouTube. Okay, that's what you would do. I will make videos of what I'm doing, but I will also do photo dumps as a video, so people can see stuff and do some background narration. But yeah, I'm feeling light. Don't want to pressure anything, because I had an idea like, oh yeah, if I do like content creation, then I need to get followers, and I want people to get all that. Don't matter. Listen, this is for my friends right now. Just taking the pressure off, and even though it's going to be for them, I still want to do my best at trying to be intentional with my storytelling, which is what I really want, because I've already professed a couple of times I want to be a National Geographic explorer. So learning how to talk about something, explain something, give background is something I'm looking forward to. And I'm such a what is the phrase I want to use? Stream of consciousness type of person, that I might add some extra structure, and not to be rigid, but to just give some intention, because I feel like if you write out something and you write out structure, then it just gives it more, intention in terms of how you want it to land. So the stream of consciousness is really just that. I think there's space for both. And my bliss is finding balance. I don't believe in something has to be one way or the other. I've learned to let go of black and white thinking, and I really try to embrace nuance as much as possible. I think that there are circumstances that might lead to very clear, defined, okay, this is how it has to be. But I do my best to leave space for nuance, because that is honestly the reality of existence. That is the reality of the natural world and the laws that govern it, is that everything is cyclical. Everything flows. There's a spectrum for everything. You can't say all mammals are this way, all birds are this way, right? Anatomically, there are some things that, yes, boldly differentiate folks, right? But you have different classes, you have different species, you have different behaviors depending on the type of animals, right? And then with the animals, even some of their behaviors differ depending on what part of the world they're in. And so if there's so much variety and variation in the natural world, I think that humans do ourselves a disservice by putting each other in these boxes that we have to be a certain way, or that life has to be lived a certain way, or certain things have to happen. And so I do my best to get my cues of existence and embodiment from natural law. And part of that is understanding variation, diversity, spectrum. So, you know, I take that into life. Every season, I'm learning more and more about how to embrace spectrum or variation by challenging my own ideas of rigidity or it has to be this way, because a lot of times humans, we have the ideas of something has to be this way because it's a safety measure, and our brain creates boundaries and ideals based off what keeps us the safest and most protected, and sometimes those safety measures are very real, and sometimes they miss the nuance. So in this season of embracing bliss, my nuance is embracing that I can rest, that I can wait, that I can be patient, and I don't have to position myself. I don't have to constantly go after something. I don't have to constantly make a way for something to happen. Sometimes all I need is space and a made up mind that it's something that I want to happen. And yes, elements of my effort are always going to be a part of the process, but I never have to deplete myself in lieu of obtaining or experiencing or embodying the thing. So that's where we are.